Alright, y'all, check me out. My little one was having a meltdown while I was trying to do this video, so I just deleted the sound and I'm gonna do a voiceover. But this is what I do whenever I need to oil my machine in the middle of a job. And you never want to just take your garment off, oil your machine, and then put your garment back on, because you're going to end up pulling some oil through and onto your garment and staining your garment, which you could probably get it out, but who wants to deal with all that, right? So right there, you just saw me prepping in order to go ahead and start cleaning this out. I like to stick my sprayer in there and just spray it out. I do this for 2 cycles of oiling, and then I'll take that top plate off and clean it every 3rd cycle that I oil. Don't need it every time. So now I go in here, I drop a couple drops on the back end of that bobbin casing, and then right into the hole of that bobbin casing. And that's gonna get that nice and oiled. So now I'm just cutting out a couple of pieces of 2.5 ounce cutaway backing, and I'm gonna fold this in half and use this on my hat hoop to run my design, and go ahead and let the oil leak through the machine onto this material instead of onto the garment that I'm currently running. And you just have to put this on your cap hoop. Make sure that you've got your cap hoop all the way tight so that it'll lock into this, and just lock it down, and that's it. Throw it onto your machine and let it start running. And we got a little catastrophe coming up. And this is where you don't want to panic, y'all, okay? My hat thankfully didn't come off of the hoop, but it did unclamp. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on and clamp it down. I'm pretty sure I was pretty much where it was before because I was able to be careful. But if your hat ever comes off the hoop, you can rehoop your hat, put it back on the machine, and realign and continue to run it. And I'll show you how to do that. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and finish my mission and run this design on this faux piece of material. And as you can see, it'll let some oil leak through onto this faux material and onto this thread here instead of on the garment. I just did a couple of letters, pull it off, it's all done, throw the hat back on. And since this hat fell off, we are gonna have to realign this, okay? Usually you gotta just back up to where you were and start on the hat. So I would have backed up to the beginning of the R right here, but I went over and knocked my hat off the hoop. So I'm gonna go ahead and go on this line and get to the end of it. I'm gonna back up just a little bit so that I run on that line slightly whenever I start stitching. And what I'm gonna do is go in and try to line this up with my needle. So I'm gonna move my machine and line it up where it needs to be. I'm really not far off at all because my hat didn't come off the hoop. It stayed secured on there whenever it fell. The clamp just came off. So I'm pretty sure I wasn't too far off a line. I'm gonna click this a couple of times because it looks like it might have been able to go over a bit. And then I'm gonna go ahead and run this. And you wanna be ready to stop it if it's in a horrible spot. But that's it. It locked in at the end, right where I wanted it. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to the beginning of that R and start this over again. And here I'm just gonna look from the side, check alignment from the side, alignment from the top, just make sure it's all aligned before I start it and keep it going on the hat. But we're good to go. Now I can finish this hat up. I oiled my machine mid-job without having to wait for this hat to be done so that I got the best quality out of it still. And this is just how I do it, y'all. You don't want to be running a machine with freshly oiled bobbin because you're gonna get oil onto whatever garment you are stitching on.